doing yesterday. The only difference is today we're going to talk about how the transformations that we were doing yesterday affect our graphs. We are going to focus on two kinds of equations. The two kinds of equations we're going to focus on are quadratic and absolute value equations. Let's remind ourselves of the shapes that they make. So quadratics take the shape of a parabola. Oh, and it's frozen. And then absolute value equations have graphs that are, we call them V-shaped. Both quadratic and absolute value equations have a vertex. It is either the maximum or the minimum value on the graph. Minimum. Okay, so what we're going to look at, on the left-hand column, we have the original graph. Every single one of these original graphs is going to start with its vertex on 0, 0. That's our original starting place. Then our transformed graph, we're going to take a look at its reflection, whether it's whether it's the original, which is facing up, or whether it's the reflection, which is facing down. And then we're going to look at where has our vertex moved. So this one is not reflected. It's facing upwards. I'm going to look at its horizontal movement. So how far from 0 did it move left or right? This one moves 3 units to the right. And then how far up or down does it go from 0, 0? This one moves down 5. Oops. The last thing that we need to know is, what is our parent function? Does anybody remember what the parent function of a parabola is? James? Yes, y equals x squared for a parabola. So I'm going to start with my a value if I have one. In this case, I don't have an a value because it's not reflected, and we're not going to worry about stretched or compressed for these first few. Then I'm going to go with my x squared. Remember, when I have an x squared, I need to put it in parentheses and leave a little room for my h value. Remember how we did that yesterday? So I'm going to go in parentheses with a little room for my h value. And then my h value, that's talking about my horizontal shift. Remember, h stands for horizontal. It's going to the right 3 units. So do we want plus 3 or minus 3? Minus 3, always the opposite of what we think. And then I'm going to put I can kind of squeeze this in. I'm going to put a minus 5 on the end for my k value. That's it. Any questions on that? Let's go a little bit faster this time. I've got a V shape in this next problem. So my parent function is going to be what? What's the parent function for a V shape? Y equals the absolute value of x. Oops. I'm going to look at my vertex. Remember, it always starts in the origin. Then I'm going to look at how far left or right does it go. It goes to the left 3. How far up or down does it go? This one goes up 1. So we're going to write that. Left 3, up 1. So then the equation here, is it reflected? Yes or no? Not reflected. So f of x equals absolute value of x. What? My horizontal shift goes in here. So I want what? Plus 3 because it's going to the left. And then on the outside, plus 1. Perfect. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, last one. What do I notice about this problem? It is reflected. So we need to write that it's reflected. Then I'm going to take a look at the shift. It goes to the left 2 units. Does it go up or down at all? So the k value has no shift up or down. So my equation, parent function again, is y equals absolute value of x, because it's a V shape. So let's go with f of x equals How do I show that it's reflected, James? Oh, yeah, you're right. I wrote left. Why did I write right? There you go. Thank you. I don't know my left and right sometimes. How do I show that this is reflected? We want a negative before the parentheses. That's like my A value. Then I put my absolute value. I want X plus or minus. Minus 2 because I'm moving to the right. And then I don't have anything for the K, so that's it. That's where I'm going to leave it. Any questions on those ones? No. Let's go backwards. So now go to the next page. Oh, no. So now we're going to start with the equation, and we're going to have to make the graph. These are going to be sketches. What I mean by sketching these transformations is that we're going to care about whether it's reflected or not, but the points aren't going to be super exact. The only point that should be exact on this graph is your vertex, okay? That's the only one that's really going to be perfect. Otherwise, it's going to just be kind of a rough sketch. Letter A. Does this graph get reflected, yes or no? No, it's a positive A value, so not a reflection. Does this graph get stretched or compressed? Neither. What's my horizontal shift? I see that plus 4 on the inside. Plus means left. We're going to move left 4. And then up or down? Down. Down 1. So we're going to start in the center. And then I'm going to move to the left 4 and down 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1. That puts my vertex right here. What shape is this graph going to make? A V shape. And I want to make sure that it's pointing upwards because it's not reflected. So now I'm going to sketch my V shape. Everybody good with that? The only part that really matters where it goes is that we have a vertex at -4, -1. Otherwise, as long as you make it look pretty, I'm happy with that. All right, letter B. Reflected, yes or no? Yes. Stretched, compressed, or neither? Horizontal shift? Perfect. And then vertical shift. So we're going to put our first point at 3, 2, right here. And then do not forget to reflect this. This graph needs to point downwards. So it's going to go this way. Any questions on that one? Okay, next one. Reflected, yes or no? Stretched, compressed, or neither? Horizontal shift? None. Remember, your horizontal shift goes in between the X value and the square. There's nothing in between there, so this is none. And then vertical shift? So I'm going to start in the center. I'm not moving left or right, but I am going to go down 5 points, so that's right here. What shape is this graph going to be? A parabola, so it needs to be a little bit curvy, like a U shape. Something like that. Everybody good with that? Last one. Reflected, yes or no? Yes, because I have this negative in the front. Stretched, compressed? Horizontal shift. And then lastly is vertical shift. Lovely. Let's put that first point on there. Left 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need a parabola again, and then we're not going to forget to reflect this guy. There we go. Any questions on that?